Today, we're diving into the traits of adult children of alcoholics. And let me tell you, usually we won't just tick one or two of these boxes, we tick multiple. I'm Corey, I'm a trauma-informed mind-body practitioner, and I work with adult children of alcoholics to help them move out of survival mode, release shame, and start living a life on their terms. And today we're talking about the traits of adult children of alcoholics. Understanding these traits was a massive moment in my own healing journey. It finally allowed me to have the language and the understanding of the why behind I was behaving or showing up in the world the way I was. Why I acted in certain ways that I really just couldn't fully understand why. Understanding this and having that awareness is what really catapulted me forward in my healing journey, really gave me that aha moment and really allowed me to cement what I needed to do to move forward. So whether you're nodding along to every single one of these traits that I'm about to call out, or you're just starting exploring this work, you are in the right place. The first trait is guessing at what normal behavior is. And many children of alcoholics, we grew up in an environment that was completely unpredictable. We grew up with behaviours that were probably not deemed as normal. We got really good at reading the room or reading other people, but probably not so good at reading ourselves and truly knowing ourselves. So as a result of this then allows you to move into adulthood, but not fully understanding who you are in your relationship maybe, or even who you are when it comes to wanting to decorate your home. Find yourself that you're like constantly looking outside of yourself for confirmation that you're doing the right thing. The second one is having difficulty finishing things. So you might start a new project and you'd be like super motivated and excited, and then halfway through you crash and burn. Well, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're unmotivated. A lot of the reasons, it links back to self-sabotaging behaviors. And the reason why we self-sabotage is because we're scared. We have this fear that we may not be perfect, or we have this fear that we actually might be seen, or this fear of failure, that we're not going to be able to do it properly anyway, so why bother? And unconsciously, these sabotaging behaviors may be showing up and you may not even be realizing it. So if you're struggling to finish something, if you find that you're getting halfway through and all the time you're finding these projects are just never able to be completed, it's not because you're lazy. It always comes back down to protection. A protection and a coping mechanism. The third one is lying when it would be just as easy to tell the truth. And this one can sting a little bit, but as children of alcoholics, we find ourselves, and I know I found myself as a child, lying to really smooth things over, lying to manage conflict, or lying to just manage the chaos that was going on at home. So now as an adult, you might find yourself in situations where you lie when it was probably just as easy for you to tell the truth. And you might be questioning yourself and saying, like, why the hell did I just lie about that? Like, I literally could have just told the truth. But it's not because you're a liar. It's a learned behavior. It's a coping mechanism, again, that you learned as a child. And unfortunately, with learned behaviors in childhood, we carry them into adulthood unless we have the awareness around them, which 99% of the time we don't, because naturally we just don't have the awareness. You don't know what you don't know. So as a result, then, people might start thinking of you as a liar, and you may really struggle to build proper, authentic relationships off the back of that. The fourth one is judging yourself without mercy. And let me tell you, if being a critic against yourself was an Olympic sport, adult children of alcoholics would win gold. And I know I would as well. I am constantly so harsh on myself when I don't feel like I'm doing my best or working hard enough. And the reason being is because many of us grew up feeling like we weren't enough. And having a parent who constantly picks a substance over you, of course that's going to make you feel like you're not enough. Of course that's going to make you feel unworthy. And that unworthiness, that feeling like you're not enough, for me anyway, it creates this like massive drive and motivation within. But that drive and motivation is driven by a desperation to prove myself to the world, to prove that I am enough and to prove that I'm worthy. And that's why when maybe I'm not able to finish a task, or when I'm exhausted and I just can't do the work that I need to do, I then start beating myself up. I then start with this self-loading self-talk. And it's really, really difficult to manage and to live from that state of mind. The fifth one is difficulty having fun. And play and being spontaneous are really, really foreign and alien to children of alcoholics. Growing up, a lot of the times you were most likely too preoccupied with trying to manage the peace, or maybe looking after your parent or looking after your family, to really have time to think about play. So now as an adult, when that's introduced into your life, or like being spontaneous or going on like a last minute adventure, it feels really weird. Probably feels a little bit unsafe even to the body. The next one ties in with the inability to play or be spontaneous, but it's taking yourself too seriously. And this is one that I really struggle with. Growing up as a child of an alcoholic, the majority of us, we had to grow up pretty fast. We had to mature pretty quickly, probably before the people that we went to school with, for example. And this like over responsibility as a child, you then carry that weight into adulthood. And even if you are not responsible for everything around you or everyone around you, you feel like you are. So now as a result, you feel like you have to be serious. You feel like you can't have fun to get ahead in life or to make sure that shit gets done, because your belief system is shit doesn't get done from a place of having fun. Shit gets done from a place of being serious and being responsible. Number 7 is difficulty with intimacy, and intimacy in romantic relationships. And allowing someone to fully see you with all of your vulnerabilities is absolutely terrifying. Vulnerability for children of alcoholics was not safe growing up. So the thought of being vulnerable now as an adult makes you feel weak. It makes you feel like if you let your guard down and let someone in and let them really see you for everything that you are, you're going to get hurt, or that they might take advantage of you in your vulnerable state. And of course, that is not the reality. But unfortunately, that is a really deep ingrained belief in so many children of alcoholics. And for myself, I've spoken about this before, but I have had a really difficult time with being vulnerable and open, especially in my romantic relationship. Like, I would probably rather vomit than be open and vulnerable. So I can really empathize if you're struggling with this one. Number 8 is overreacting to things we cannot control. And my God, is this something that I have struggled with. So someone changing plans last minute, something going wrong in work, someone just saying, oh, I'm going to be 5 minutes late, makes our nervous system scream danger, even when it's not dangerous at all. Of course it's not. But the nervous system doesn't realize that. And it links back to the feeling the need to having to control everything from when you were a child, having to or trying to control the environment that you were in to feel safe or to find safety. So now as an adult, when it feels like someone is taking that control away from you, automatically it sends your nervous system into dysregulation. Number 9 is constantly seeking approval or affirmation. So growing up as a child of an alcoholic, you may have learned that love was conditional, not unconditional. So you chase perfection in your relationship, perfection in work, maybe even perfection in how you portray yourself online. Is it like on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook? You want to show people that you have this perfect life, because if you're not perfect, then that means that you're not going to be loved. And that belief is something that adult children of alcoholics really, really hold on deeply to throughout adulthood. Number 10 is feeling different from other people. And this one is really about feeling like no one understands you, feeling like no one understands what it was like growing up with an alcoholic. No one understands the struggles that you're going through. Feeling like everyone else kind of got this manual on how to get through life and you didn't. You're not alone in that feeling. I get it completely. I grew up feeling like no one understood my problems for a very, very long time. And that also reflected throughout my romantic relationships as well. Really feeling like my partner just did not understand why I was the way I was sometimes. So the next one is extreme loyalty. And loyalty to people who most likely don't deserve you to be loyal to them. A lot of the times, growing up the child of an alcoholic, if your parents are together and only one drinks, you'll see that the other one, in my case, will stay with the alcoholic parent. So we can confuse loyalty with love, and we feel like you have to be loyal to someone, even if they're causing you pain and suffering. The next one is difficulty trusting others. And I really struggled with this one unconsciously for a very, very long time. And the reason being is because promises were always broken. Like having a parent who constantly promises you, like promises, things are going to change. Never going to drink again. Things are not going to be like this. I promise I'm going to get help. And the week later, everything is back to the way it was. And that is, when that's a constant cycle, when that constantly keeps happening, you really learn that, trust is very easily broken and people don't keep their word. So now as an adult, if someone doesn't keep their word, if someone tells me they're going to do something and they don't do it, that really, really triggers me. And that's something that I have to work on, to not, paint everyone with the same brush. But it's very, very triggering for adult children of alcoholics when they see a pattern that may not be related to alcoholism, but when they see a pattern of behavior of people not following through on what they're going to say they're going to do, which, let's be real, happens all the time. Happens in our relationship, happens in work, happens in school. Like, we can't control that. So what we can control is how we react to that. The next one is emotional dysregulation. So you may find that you're so reactive, you might explode, or you completely shut down and go into like withdrawal mode. There's no in the middle. And the reason being is most likely you grew up in an environment that was either completely reactive, like you've seen your adult parent go flying off the handle when they got emotional, or they shut down, they buried their head in the sand, they withdrew. So you learned that's how you deal with emotions. That, like, it's so normal for you to think that that's the normal way to deal with emotions. So as an adult, when you feel emotions, especially negative ones, that you don't really know how to cope with, you either go one of two ways. Next is living in a state of hypervigilance. And this is constantly just feeling like you're on edge, scanning for threats, nervous system is completely dysregulated, completely living from a state of overwhelm. And even in calm moments, even in moments where everything seems fine, you might feel like you're constantly waiting for the shoe to drop. Or you might feel like when you're sleeping, kind of feels like you're sleeping with one eye open. You're never able to fully really settle into the moment. And lastly, believing it's weak to ask for help. Children of alcoholics learn early on, the majority of the time, we have to handle everything ourselves. So now, as adults, we feel like we have to handle everything ourselves. Even when we're drowning, even when people reach out and say, do you need help with something? We say, no, we're fine, even though we really, really do need help. And again, a learned behavior from childhood, because growing up with an alcoholic parent, you usually had to handle everything. You usually had to get shit done. You usually just had to get through life, put your head down, and not have anyone help you. Just figure it out as you go along. But that doesn't always have to be the case now as an adult. So if you've been sitting there for the past 15 minutes thinking, oh, that's me. Oh, wow, that's definitely me. Or, oh, holy shit, I tick every single one of them. Believe me, you're not alone. I tick the majority of all of those traits. The thing is, they don't define you, okay? They don't make up your identity. They're just the majority of the time a learned set of behaviors, dysregulated nervous system, emotional dysregulation, and just not fully understanding the why behind your behavior. A lot of the time, your nervous system, your mind, your body, it was just doing what it had to do to survive. And developing these traits was part of that. But the amazing thing now is, now that you have the awareness of what they are, now that you have the awareness of how they show up in your life, you can unlearn them. Start by getting curious and just really being gentle with yourself. And please remember, healing, it does not mean becoming this new person. It actually really means coming back to the person you were before the trauma, before the pain, and before the suffering. If this video resonated, please give it a like, and I would love for you to drop a comment in what trait really resonated with you the most. If it was all of them, please just say it was all of them. It's nothing to be ashamed about. I resonate with the majority of them as well. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.